Season's greetings. It's DR.KOBA back yet again with our never-ending series of rides that we've taken with the Grateful Dead's 60th anniversary box set. Enjoying the ride. It came out in June, and here we are in December, and we're still going over things. We've got a few left, essentially only like 3, essentially. But what we've got here is a heater, an interesting one that probably could have stood on its own for a release for either Dave's Picks, Dick's Picks, Road Trips. It could have been any of these. We have 3/16/73 Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, Uniondale, New York. We have a very spirited performance. We have a very interesting performance. We have a time capsule of the period of time where these guys are the greatest band in the world, and they know it. They're hot as hell, and they're just playing so good as they'd ever will in their lives. And so what we have here is a very lived in fun show, from being in the audience to being on the stage. You have Bill Graham coming up at the beginning before China Cat Sunflower and announcing everybody in the Dead. You know, even the fact that they open with China Cat Sunflower is like, you could tell where they're at already. They just know that they've got the hot hands. Both hands are hot. They have 15 hot hands now. So we got a hot China Rider. We're already we're clicking, we're grooving. It's just as good as it gets. We get another opener with Jack Straw, so Bobby gets to have his opener. Just as good, you know, it's 73 goodness. We've got Jerry's guitar sounding perfect. We have a very dense and meaty sound to Bobby's guitar. This is a Phil show. Phil's bass is perfect. You've got everybody's perfect. Billy's perfect. Keith's perfect. Whenever Donna steps up, she's great. You know, she's singing the lines with Jack Straw. Yeah, we have a very early version of Wave That Flag, U.S. Blues next, and with some kind of lyrics that rightfully so got deleted and rewritten by Robert Hunter to turn it into U.S. Blues, but it's still a fun rock tune. It's just, I'm glad that they turned it into something else. At the end of Wave That Flag, we have a very funny interaction with the crowd where apparently everyone is throwing joints on the stage, and Jerry's like, "Why do you smoke your joints out there? Don't throw it at us. You're wasting your reefer." And Phil's like, "Man, like, right, dope is very expensive." And so they're having a good time. And Bobby's like, "We're getting high on you guys. We're already high." And so it's a joyous occasion, but it's probably another Tuesday night for these guys. Now they're feeling it so much that they're just having fun. They're conversing, talking, and then Phil says, "You know, this is a pretty beautiful tune that Bobby wrote." And they go into a very languid, nice, looks like rain. Just, you know, it's about as good as 70s rock ever gets for its groove and feeling. And, you know, it's just, everything they do is perfect. It just oozes confidence and musicality. We have Ramble on Rose next. You know, Europe 72 probably just came out not too long ago, and it's just as good. Just amazing. You know, Box of Rain's next. Everyone's getting to take their turn. Everybody's singing a song. Everybody's just having fun. You know, if this is one of the greatest months of the Grateful Dead in the original incarnation, it probably is. There's so much energy coming off of here. We get Box of Rain next. You know, so Phil steps up. He might forget a few lyrics, but everything sounds good. Yeah, they go into Beat It On Down the Line. They might not know the beginning, the amount of hits they want, but it's that job I got. It's a little too hot, you know. We've got, they look like they love each other next, and so it's just a grooving version of everything's just clicking in place, you know. El Paso's next, great little rock tune version of El Paso. We have Road Jimmy. Another great Row Jimmy. You know, the 77 show had a great Row Jimmy. The 78 show had a great Row Jimmy. And here's another good one. We end with Mexicali Blues, so more Ace material. You know, everyone's just taking their turns. They're still going because this is as long as it gets. Like we're into disc 2 now. We're yet this first set's still alive here. We've got Birdsong, a very big, jammy bird song, but it's still pretty focused. It might be it's 12 minutes long. And so we get, you know, a nice bird song. There's lots of harmonics. You know, Jerry is really, you know, digging into the string and making those bird type tones, and everybody's just in full flight. It's just perfect. And then they go into another playing in the band, a 73 playing in the band. You know what you're going to get. We get wah wah. We get high energy exploratory. It's a 20-minute version. It is good. You know, you could probably put any of these on ever, and you'd be like, yeah, that's the good. That's the goods right there. And it finishes the set. We're in disc 2, so it was already half hour. Another half hour of music is gone before they've even gotten into the second set. And here's where things just kick into some amazing high gear stuff. They come back on, and there's like the 1, 2, 3 punch, pretty much a Promised Land, yeah, which is rocked out and fast. And then they don't even skip a beat. Then they should have done this more, where they're in the key of A, and at the end of Promised Land, they go to Bertha, which is in the key of C major, because there's an F in there. So that it just goes up a third, and so they just kick right into Bertha, high gear, and then at the end of Bertha, they kick into Greatest Story Ever Told, which is down to the G major. So there's a fish thing happening here where it's a logical musical progression of keys that is not something you typically hear them do. Typically, the musical key signatures aren't well thought out in that way. Like only Trey Anastasio is sitting and thinking about how these kind of interlock sometimes, but The Dead is more about the forms of this song and this song are together thematically. They're more like that than they are musically connected. So it was fun to hear them do it, and it keeps pushing the gears higher and higher and higher, and they are just rocking out. And so they bring it back down because what comes up goes down, and then they're just going to push it back up again and push it back down again. The energy level is very high. We get a loser, another great loser, and then Jerry, they hit into Big River after it. Jerry has a great solo in Loser, by the way. Big River, Jerry's the notes that he's playing they're just amazing. He's just fleet fingered. He's just as silver as possible. He's really just hitting the water. It's like droplets of water, and it's perfect. They're just grooving, they're cooking. And they're now going into a higher gear, Don't Ease Me In, which is a fun thing to hear. You know, like you're not necessarily going to hear Don't Ease Me In a lot in this era or ever really. So fun little rock tune there. Back into Me and My Uncle. So it's gone up and up and up, and then it has its thematic point where it stops at Me and My Uncle. That's the end of second disc. The third disc is huge with a half-hour Dark Star, 28-minute Dark Star, which is a very fun little exploration. It's got huge jam at the front of it before the first verse, where they are just kind of, it is high energy psych music at its finest. And Phil is pushing, everybody's pushing. It seems like they're trying to find a groove that is just, it's like lava lamp music, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the 72 show. But awesome second verse jam after that, where there's some feedback, and then there's like this tighten up kind of like funk jam they're really going into some jazz fusion sounds in this, and it really rocks, but it's really loose rock music. sound like they're going. They don't exactly know where they're going to go, where they're going to land. They land in Truckin, which is kind of a shorter Truckin because they're pushing it. They know that they've played for like 3 hours now, and the energy level is still as high as when they started 3 hours beforehand. They rock out Truckin, and then we have a huge Phil bomb into Morning Dew. Phil's pushing. Everybody's pushing. Everyone gives little pushes. Everyone's telling the story of Morning Dew, and we'll contrast this to the 1972. Like Keith is fully engaged. Everybody's fully engaged in telling the story of Morning Dew, and they have a huge peak at the end, and then they kick into Sugar Magnolia, high energy rock. That last part where with the Sunshine Daydream, they're just screaming. The only thing about this show is that would have made it unreleasable is the vocals are recorded a little hot because these guys are screaming. They are so full of energy and life that they're about to. It sounds like they're going to explode. The instruments are perfectly recorded. But if they listened back and heard a little bit of mic distortion on their vocals, which is kind of endemic through the whole show, they'd been like, great, now we have a perfectly releasable show that is unusable because our vocals are a little hot. If you can get past the vocals being a little hot, you have them being like the greatest rock band ever. So that's my take. 3/16/73. You could put it on the pile of other shows from 1973, from March 1973, even from the same venue. It's all good. This one took me by surprise because I usually think 73 is way too drawn out and has a lot of long, languid. You got to be in its vibe, and you got to be ready for half-hour stretches of music, and you got to be ready for things that are a little less energy. This took me by surprise. There's so much energy. This is a great one. I would recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's one of the reason why this box is interesting is that this show standing on its own probably wouldn't be release worthy outside of maybe Dave's picks. It would have been a perfect Dave's picks, but he's already put out a bunch of stuff from this era, and so it would just be yet another part of the era. When you put it here, and it's the only one from that year, it is awesome. So 3/16/73, Dave, you found a good one. It's a diamond, and we're gonna keep going. So like, share, subscribe, comment. We'd love to hear if you got to the end here and you like the Dead as much as people can like the Dead. Well, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, comment, engage. I'd like to hear what you have to say. I've got a couple of other, a bunch of recordings now of the videos of these shows, and you can go ahead and listen to them. And here's the back of it as well. So you got yourself, kind of like the rain swept 9/8 and 9/7 Dave's picks from same place. Don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it's up in there, 20s, 30s, something like that. But it looks exactly the same. So have a good one. Dr. Koba.